are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Duke Podcast. I'm Larck, able to take on Twitter, here to preview the Iron Bowl this Saturday at 6:30 p.m. CST. Alabama currently a touchdown favorite, 6.5 to be exact. And, of course, this is a game with major implications on both sides. Auburn gets the win, you can go to a bowl game. And, of course, you get DJ Durkin another opportunity to see if he will be the head coach. But I think rumor mill kind of spinning around. It looks like Sumrall is going to be the guy. If the rumors are true, going around the place, which I think everyone and their mother has been posting about Sumrall to Auburn. But, of course, on the Bama side, you win this game, SEC championship, as well as going to the college ball playoff. So both sides have something to gain as well as something to lose. And, of course, one is a worse loss than the other in that regard. But I think with that, this game becomes so much more interesting based off how Auburn has been playing over the past couple of weeks, or past few games, I guess. I can't really say couple of weeks because Auburn had a bye week just 2 weeks ago. But, dude, this game, I just don't know exactly what to expect from this game. I'm looking at Alabama. Alabama's offense has been very efficient to start off the year, but then their defense kind of started to emerge as their offense kind of fell back. Auburn, on the other hand, defense was popping off all season long. And these past 3 weeks, we've kind of seen the emergence of the offense and then the defense kind of trekking off. So that's the interesting part going into this game is it best versus best on both sides, or what are we going to see from these teams? And just in terms of, is something going to be different offensively for Auburn? Are we going to see completely new look offensively? And is Alabama going to find a way to emerge back into what they were offensively earlier in the year? Of course, Alabama's coming off of beating Eastern Illinois, Auburn Mercer, but before then, Auburn took an L at Vanderbilt and looked pretty good while doing it. Alabama loses to Oklahoma and was not a very good loss in that regard. Oklahoma was able to do a lot of damage to Bama's offense because Oklahoma's defense is really, really good. And I'm looking at the availability report real quick and just kind of have that out in the open. Auburn, of course, going to be without Sylvester Smith for the first half of this game, which is a major blow to the secondary, which I think is a major talking point going into this game. And, of course, the ones Auburn's been out with for a while. I mean, Champ Anthony, Horatio, DeMarcus Riddick, Sam Turner, Connor Lew, guys that have been out for a while. So, but Sylvester Smith is the big talking point for Auburn because, who is going to replace that role? Is it going to be Eric Winters? Is it going to be Anquan? Is it going to be, just whoever can replace that role that Sylvester Smith has done I would say a really good job of playing, a guy who you can kind of disguise on blitzes and kind of come in, or just a guy who can lay a hit when you need it. And again, I think Auburn's secondary has been the weakest part of this defense. And I'll even go a step further. The safeties have been a major disappointment in this season. Jacquez Robinson, it's hard for me to put an ounce of trust in him when it comes to coverages right now. And Caleb Harris, I mean, he is going through a sophomore slump. He has plays where he looks the part again, but in coverage, it's just a bit iffy. And I understand it's kind of Auburn's defense. I mean, they're not getting blown over the top. It's just like plays are getting made on Auburn's defense. Vanderbilt was a major talking point. They had a lot of explosive plays that was, kind of just killed Auburn in that game because the defense was not getting pressure on Pavia and allowing that to happen. But when it comes to this game, Auburn needs to get pressure. I'm saying the weak spot of this defense is the secondary, but there's so much pressure on this front seven to get to Ty Simpson. And we're going to get to the ins and outs of that in just a second. But this game, again, major implications. And this game will, Penn State fans are saying that if Auburn wins this game, Kalen DeBoer is going to Penn State, which I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think Penn State's a better job than Alabama. I don't think any right-minded individual would think that. But it'd be interesting to see happen. But yeah, just kind of keeping it on this game, dude, I this I think I'm just too much of an Auburn fan at times because, dude, it just feels like the planets are aligning in a way where this game could be an upset. And, Vegas thinks so too. It's only a touchdown for a team with playoff implications and a team just hoping to make it to a Birmingham Bowl or Music City Bowl, just depending on where you want to spend your weekend at. But of course, Alabama's offense, they're out with they lost Josh Cuevas, their best tight end, and that's a major blow. I mean, he's a very important part to this offense. He's an efficient pass catcher, and again, he's a position that Auburn has not done too great of a job covering all season long. So as I kind of emerge into my keys and going into my players to watch here, I mean, I think just kind of starting off with Auburn's defense, Xavier Atkins has to have a big game. I talk about the front seven having so much pressure surrounding them going into this one. If Auburn's not getting pressure on Ty Simpson, then that's going to be a major problem for Auburn's defense. You have to get pressure on Ty Simpson. Oklahoma, that's the blueprint right there. It's a non-efficient offense and a very good defense doing damage to Alabama. What does Auburn have? A very good defense when they're playing right, and an offense that is emerging late, but over the course of the stats that we have, not a very efficient offense. So if you can get pressure on Ty Simpson, they're going to make mistakes. That's how you get the fumble. That's how you get the interceptions. That's how you keep yourself in the game. That's how you make plays happen to get leads, to keep leads, and of course to just battle hard and get an upset. You got to have Xavier Atkins have another great game. I mean, Xavier Atkins is going to be on should be on the short list for defensive national awards. Put him in the Heisman race as well. Do all of that. But again, I'm putting Xavier Atkins as a placeholder for the front seven. The front seven has to have a big game. Robert Woodyard, Elijah Melendez, Kieron Crawford, Keldrick Falk, Bobby, Malik Blockton, Autry, Crawford, Hardy, all of these guys, Amaris, Jared Smith, Chris Murray. You got to have a big game from this front seven. You've got to get pressure on Ty Simpson. And of course, when I look at the defense players to watch, the Bama offensive line, their tackles are susceptible to a pass rush. And of course, the wide nine technique, just having this wide group, and the O line's not able to catch up with it. And Oklahoma did, and it worked well. And if Auburn can mimic that and just kind of keep doing the damage that Oklahoma did, and just pound the pass rush and get back there. And again, Bama's offense is built around getting the ball out quick too, but again, getting pressure on Ty Simpson would do so much damage here for Auburn, or to help Auburn, not to Auburn. But Alabama, their offensive line, Caden Proctor is a very good offensive lineman. He's not had a great year. I gotta say both tackles for Alabama have not had a great year. So you can kind of see where Auburn can get back to the quarterback and make things happen for Auburn's offense or Auburn's defense. And then again, that kind of goes into that. But again, that's the matchup. I mean, my Auburn pass rush versus Ty Simpson is big time. If you can get 4 sacks in this game will be close. This game will be very close. If you can get 4 sacks, and you're just constantly getting back there, you're hurting him, you're making him make, critical errors when it matters the most, that'll be big time for Auburn. That will clinch the game for you. Because Alabama's offense, Jeremy Bernard and Ryan Williams are very good wide receivers. Again, Ryan Williams, he kind of is having, his own version of a sophomore slump. A lot of drops. But without Josh Cuevas, and that just makes it seem a little better for Auburn's chances in this one, just not having a more reliable safety blanket to throw to. Alabama, they have kind of built themselves off of not really doing the explosive plays, but kind of doing the efficient plays and making things happen down the field. Like with the yards after the catch. But Jeremy Bernard's going to be in this game. He was listed as probable. He's going to play. There's no way Alabama's going to, sit him for this game where everything's on the line for them. So Auburn has got to get to the quarterback, because if you don't, the secondary is going to pay for it in the worst of ways. The safety room hasn't been the best all season long. They've had flashes. Eric Winters and Anquan Figgins have flashes. But again, this unit constantly is rotating. And when I see the majority of the mistakes happen, it's Caleb Harris and Juckus Robinson back there. So the secondary has to have a big game. Kyan Lee, Jake Crawford, Rashawn Pleasant, dude, you have got to be better in coverage. Mercer kind of picked him apart a little bit. Rayon Strader, all those guys that are getting in there and getting in these rotations and just being on the field, covering these big-time guys. I mean, even Torrey Horton in the slot. You have got to shut them down, break routes, get interceptions. You've got to force turnovers in this game. Alabama not really running the football team. Don't even have a guy who has I don't think they have a guy over 400 or 500 yards on the season. I mean, as a team, they're rushing for 1356, but I mean, Jam Miller has 108 carries for 410 yards. That's 3.8 yards per carry. And again, I think they're going to try to run the ball. I mean, against Oklahoma, they had 30 carries, which, again, they were just getting back there so much. Things were just happening against them. Daniel Hill was their leading rusher that day, but they had 33 carries. Again, against Florida State, going even further than that, or earlier than that, they had 29 carries. So whenever you're getting pressure on the quarterback, if you can get that, you're going to force them to do the things they're not too keen on. And something Auburn has been doing very good at has been stopping the run. I mean, they're only allowing 2.7 yards per carry, which is awesome. I mean, Auburn is the number 11th rush defense in the nation. Pass defense, that's the issue. That's 98. So if Auburn can use that front seven and get back to Ty Simpson and force those critical errors to happen, it will do so much for Auburn's chances in this game. And I kind of flip it back to Auburn's offense now. Jeremiah Cobb is my guy to watch in this one. Alabama, for what it is, I mean, their passing offense or passing defense is pretty dang good. They're number 4 in the nation. When it comes to run defense, they're 32nd, which means still very good. But they're allowing almost 4 yards per carry. They're letting up 121 yards per game. Jeremiah Cobb needs to have a big game for this one. Auburn can't be one-dimensional. And I'll get to more of a talking point later for this Auburn offense. But Jeremiah Cobb has to have a big game. And even kind of go further than that, Ashton Daniels has a big game. Auburn has to run the football. All of the quarterbacks that have beaten Alabama this year have ran the football very well. I mean, John Mateer, 10 carries, 23 yards. I mean, stat-wise, not really the best thing in the world, but he's able to move in the pocket. I mean, Tommy Castanella is the guy who beat Alabama in week 1. He led the team. He had 16 carries for 78 yards. Ashton Daniels, I mean, he's not as much of a runner as like a Jackson Arnold is, because he can actually make plays down the field. But what he does so well is avoiding sacks, is getting away from pressure. Again, I was so shocked when I heard that he got sacked like 6 times against Kentucky, because, dude, it doesn't feel like he's getting sacked because he's running out of the pocket and trying to look down the field, make a play happen. And that's what a quarterback should be doing. If he could do that in this game, that will do wonders for Auburn as well, as just avoiding the sacks. But yeah, Jeremiah Cobb has to have a big game. I mean, if Jeremiah Cobb, hit the 1K in this one, please, just to have the milestone for the season. But if he can hit like 100 yards, 120 yards, and hit that milestone, and just hit the point where Alabama is, what they're allowing less than, and then Ashton Daniels can have the rest of it. Let Omar Mabson get some of them short yardage carries. I don't know how I feel about the premise of Deuce Knight being in some packages, I feel like that'd be kind of doing damage to to a freshman right there. I mean, if it works, it works. I just don't want to see Jackson Arnold in this game. But I think Ashton Daniels, dude, he looked great versus Vanderbilt. And again, small sample size. And I can't even – he didn't look bad versus Kentucky. He looked good versus Arkansas. So, if he can continue on that trajectory and combine that with the Jeremiah Cobb big game, I mean, this Auburn offense can get to clicking on all cylinders. And again, what that's going to come down to is Alabama's front seven. And I'm a guy I'm looking at for Alabama. I'm hoping I say his name right, but he leads the team in sacks with 6. I'm going to say Yanze Pierre, 6 sacks. Getting the quarterback, he's forced 3 fumbles on the year, which leads Alabama. He's at 34 tackles on the year. But again, just kind of a stand-in for the front seven. Alabama is a very good defense, and they're going to get to the quarterback. They're going to get in the backfield. This Auburn offensive line has not been doing such a good job of doing that. It's Xavier Chaplin. It's Mason Murphy. It's just whoever that day is just not having a good day. Xavier Chaplin, dude, if you need to, go get a hearing aid because it's going to be loud in Jordan-Hare Stadium at 6:30 p.m. for the Iron Bowl. And again, I understand Virginia Tech, Enter Sandman is a great thing. But again, it's nothing compared to the Iron Bowl, the greatest rivalry in college football. So can't have those mistakes either. The Alabama defensive line is going to make you make mistakes, make you miss some blocks. And again, it's why it helps to have Ashton Daniels, to have a guy who can, run around and just kind of make a play happen down the field. And again, that comes to my next matchup. I mean, Cam Coleman needs to have a big game as well. And I have Bray Hubbard on here. He is Alabama's leading interceptions leader, which is a redundant thing to say. He also leads the team in pass deflections with 8. This guy is going to be on Cam Coleman a lot. And again, wherever he is on the field, it's going to be him, Malcolm, Eric, Perry. These guys have to have a big game. And hear me out. Don't let Preston Howard take the field. Do not let Preston Howard on the football field unless Auburn is running the ball and he has to block. And Auburn just needs extra help blocking, which he's not really good at blocking either. Auburn has to have a near perfect game to win this one. And again, Cam Coleman has been on fire. And, he is a legend in the making for Auburn. He is already on his way to being on the Auburn wide receiver Mount Rushmore. And can't hit him. Eric is going to have to make some plays happen. Run a little curl route, grab the ball, and then make something happen. Malcolm, dude, I understand that you are a very good athlete. Run forward with the ball, please. And again, I'll say Perry Thompson, get him involved. Auburn needs all their playmakers clicking on all cylinders in this one to get this massive program statement win in this big time rivalry. Again, this is a prime time game. I'm doing my pick'ems after I predict the Iron Bowl, and I'm going to tell you, when this game ends, the rivalry week is practically over. I mean, there's not really any good games after the Iron Bowl is over with on that Saturday slate. And again, when it comes to a perfect game happening, there's the offensive part, there's the defensive part, but also the special teams. Alex McPherson versus Connor Talty. As of late, Alabama has not been doing too hot kicking the ball, which color me surprised. Connor Talty has costed Alabama a couple of games, or almost cost them a couple. And again, this guy, some of the videos I've seen, dude, why are you screaming at your long snapper for a partially high snap, especially whenever your holder brought it down and it was a great hold? You just whiffed on the ball. And Alex McPherson, again, I'll flip over to the Auburn side. We've seen him kind of emerge back onto the scene as being a true, consistent kicker that he has always been. And, this one little hiccup, kind of sidelined him for a little bit, but we saw big-time things happen The weather for the Iron Bowl is it's supposed to be a little windy, supposed to be a little rainy from what I've been seeing. I'll kind of pull up what I have right now and just kind of see what the weather says at the very moment, just so we can get an idea for it. Cloudy. I guess no rain. I thought it was supposed to, I heard rain, but I guess not rain anymore. Welcome to Alabama and any time of the month. But Auburn can make kicks, but it's all about making them consistently in that regard. And again, Connor Talty hasn't been making them consistently as of late. I mean, he's kicking 61% from just kicking field goals. And Alex McPherson, I mean, he's 85%. He's missed 150 plus yarder, which I don't even know why he was even kicking that. And again, he had that one horrendous game against Missouri, which kind of cost him, I think, all of those kicks, if I'm not mistaken. But again, I'm just looking at that, and that becomes such an X factor of this game in every sense of the word. But I guess when it comes down to it, I have to make a pick for this game. And again, so much is riding on the game for both teams. And both these teams are coming in with weaknesses that apply to the other team's strengths, and the other teams are coming in with strengths that help with the other team's that go against other teams' weaknesses. You have Ashton Daniels back. He had a couple of weeks to rest up and practice all week for 3 weeks really for this game. You have playmakers that can make things happen and can do some damage to any defense in the country. Cam Coleman is literally unguardable. I cannot think of a singular DB who could even possibly shut him down. But, dude, when it comes down to it, something in me, and again, Jordan-Hare Stadium at night, it's been so long since it happened. They've been honoring the 2010 comeback team over the past couple of days now on Twitter. And I think I'm going to do it. And again, I'm I've had this feeling in my gut for really a week. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to pull the trigger on it. I'm going to pick Auburn to win the game 24-21. And again, someone said this when I was on the Water Cooler Talk show or podcast yesterday. It's a race to 22. Alabama's been held under 22 in all their losses, or all 2 of them. I trust this Auburn defense. Cedar Durkin is going to have this team looking right, I think, just surely because of the stage that they're on. Something in me, my gut, my heart, my brain, I cannot get away from picking Auburn to win this game. I had them winning 24-21, making a field goal, possibly in the last few minutes of the game, and just finding a way to win. For the first time all season, finding a way to win a game. And this team is fired up about it. They're going to be more fired up in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Alabama is not going to be an easy team to knock down. They're not going to come in here feeling defeated. They're not going to come into this game feeling like they've been done dirty by anybody, that they, are a team that, they're not going to feel disrespected. They're a team that's going to come in there and they're going to get their clinched spot in the playoffs. But just something about this game and something about how Alabama has been playing recently offensively, mistakes being made left and right in this offense, something can happen. And Auburn will leave Jordan-Hare Stadium on Saturday with a win, getting bowl eligibility, and then, of course, announcing their head coach within the next couple of days, because I think that's where people are kind of going into, at least from what I've been reading on Twitter. But that's my pick. And, of course, let me know what you think, comments below. What is your predictions for the Auburn-Alabama game, the Iron Bowl, the best rivalry in college sports? Move over Duke UNC basketball. Move over a game over there in Michigan or in Ohio State. We'll have time for you at 11 a.m. But, yeah, I'm I have tried to find a way to talk myself out of picking Auburn. And again, it might be some biasness talking, but again, I have just had the feeling all week. And I'm going to ride with it. I will live and die by it. I'm picking Auburn to win this game. Let me just do the comments below. What are your picks? Follow along with the picks that we're going to do in just a second. Awesome. Oh, happy Thanksgiving. I forgot to say that at the beginning of the show. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Completely whiffed on that. I hope everyone is enjoying the time with their families or enjoyed time with their families, depending on when you're watching this. But yeah, leave your picks in the comment section below. Leave your picks in the premiere over here on the, I guess, right side of the screen. Just let me know what your picks are for the Iron Bowl this Saturday. Now, of course, we're going to do a quick little break. Outside of this break, we're going to talk about the rest of the games going on this week, starting with the one today. But, of course, before I go to the ad, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Again, leaving your picks for the Iron Bowl, as well as subscribing to each channel. Help us get to our next milestone of 2,000 subscribers. But, of course, thank you all to everyone who subscribed. Thank you to everyone who will subscribe. But now, after this break, we'll be right back with the pick'ems of the week.
Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes, looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program.
Of course, available on thewarreport.com. Don't forget to go to the shop and get your very own college loop merch today, as well as just getting all your merch. You know, Christmas is coming up. So just kind of load up stockings on a bunch of merch you can get for the best podcast network around. But as we move on to the rest of the show, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Follow along with the pick'ems. You know, I've tried to pick the best 10 games of this weekend, either based off of just storylines in general or games I found funny. Save that for the very end. Yeah, I was not kidding about the time slots. After 6:30 on Saturday, after the Iron Bowl's over with, there's nothing really else on the rest of the day. So go to bed early or after you finish rolling tumors. Driving to Auburn for an hour away and rolling tumors, which I will be doing when Auburn does win the game. Knocking on wood. But starting with the pick'ems, of course, starting off with today, the Thanksgiving game. Of course, the Egg Bowl, no longer a Thanksgiving game. Thank you, SEC, for ruining my schedule for that. My schedule has always been the same thing. Always been the same thing. Watch the parade, watch the first 30 minutes of the dog show, watch the Lions game, eat during halftime, go throw the football with my dad for a little bit, and then come back, start the Cowboys game, come back home, watch the Egg Bowl. I've had that schedule for so long. Past 2 years, haven't been able to do anything about it. So we do have a good game, though. Navy and Memphis, this is a very good football game. And again, this game's going to be electric against at Memphis. And it wouldn't be right for me on this American holiday not to pick the Navy midshipmen to get this dub. So I'm going to take Navy to get the win here. I mean, dude, this is a fire game to start off this weekend with. Which again, I understand games have already been happening, but regardless, I'm going to take Navy to get the upset based off of the spread in this one. But of course, now we move on to Friday, Black Friday, when everyone's going to be doing their shopping. Don't forget, you have a great slate of football games going on that day. Starting off at 11 a.m., dude, the Egg Bowl. Number 7 Ole Miss at Mississippi State. Of course, this is one of my favorite rivalries in the SEC. I'd probably put it right below. Honestly, I'd probably put it right below the Iron Bowl. I think the Egg Bowl is the second best rivalry in the SEC. I mean, this game is always so fun to watch, and it's 11 a.m., so it's already like crazy. Ole Miss, of course, is the favorite. Ole Miss also might have a coach next year or after this game ends. We don't know exactly where Lane Kiffin's going. He might just be doing all this to get a bigger contract from Ole Miss. He might actually just leave and go to Florida, might actually leave and go to LSU. Someone predicted him to go to the Tennessee Titans, which I find absolutely insane that any NFL team would hire Lane Kiffin. But regardless, I mean, this is a big-time game. Jeff Lebby gets the chance to kind of get a big program win for him, get a bowl game a chance as well. Ole Miss, if they lose this game, I mean, you lose your chances at going to the SEC championship. And a couple other things, I would imagine, if you lose to a 6-6 team or 5-6 team at the time. I'm gonna take Ole Miss. I always go off based off my pick'ems that I made earlier in the week. I think I'm gonna have to go with Ole Miss. I think they're the better team. I mean, Mississippi State fights and they fight hard in their games. I mean, they give a lot of teams issues, but again, as of late, they have not been that team. I mean, they lost by 20 to Georgia. They lost by 22 to Missouri. So I'm gonna take Ole Miss to get the dub in this one. I just can't talk myself into picking Mississippi State right now. But I mean, dude, you never know with the Egg Bowl. Again, another game on Friday at 2:30. Georgia Tech taking on each other on that same day. I mean, number 5 Georgia, number 23 Georgia Tech, and this game isn't in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, or it's not in Bobby Dodd. I think it's in the dome, which yes, it's in the Benz, not the dome, the Benz. Again, this game is very interesting as well. I mean, Georgia is a very good team. Georgia Tech, they've kind of slipped off a little bit. But Georgia Tech is a team that fights very hard. And again, their offense is very explosive at times. Again, Haynes King has been having a pretty good season, leading the team in rushing. He has 15 rushing touchdowns, so of course he has. Dude, I just don't know if I can make myself pick another upset, another big time upset like this. Again, I mean, this loss I don't think it wouldn't really do anything out of Georgia's like SEC championship bid or anything. I think Alabama still gets it, just because they've won the game between the two of them. So why not? Wreck-em Tech. I'm gonna take Georgia Tech to win this game. I'll be rooting for Georgia Tech to win this game, so I might as well pick them. It's rivalry week. We're full of hate. Why not? It runs the sport. I'm going to take Tech to get the upset versus Georgia, and I was rather put number 5 Georgia on there when I meant to put number 4. I put in the right thing up there. But, yeah, I'm going to take Georgia Tech to get the massive upset in here. Another good win for Brent Key, wherever he may be next season. So, yeah, I'm going to take Tech in that one, getting their first win versus Georgia since 2010, something crazy like that. Regardless. And of course, Friday slate gets even better. End off the day with number 3 Texas A&M taking on number 16 Texas. Of course, this is a rivalry renewed. We saw it last year, but again, I'm gonna keep saying rivalry renewed. In this game, I've kind of come around to the thoughts about this game and just these teams. Again, Texas is the favorite. A&M is the favorite per the spread. Part of I've been looking at the playoffs a lot, because we're getting close to selection day, kind of seeing what teams get in, what teams don't get in, and I've come around to Mike Elko getting his first national championship this year. And I mean, them and Indiana are like the two teams where I'm like, I'll be quietly cheering for them. I'm gonna take the Aggies in this one. Texas has been, kind of disappointing, and by kind of I mean extremely disappointing this season. And Texas A&M, they've fought hard in all of their games. They survived South Carolina after a awesome comeback. I was glad to have watched all of that. That was sick to watch. But again, Texas, they got their butt kicked by Georgia just a couple of weeks ago. They beat the crap out of Arkansas, but it's Arkansas. I mean, they're winning against semi-good teams that are struggling doing it. I mean, Mississippi State took them to overtime. Kentucky took them to overtime. I'm taking the Aggies in this one. Again, I think they're the best team in the SEC, and they've proved it. So, yeah, I'm taking the Aggies in this one. Now we move on to Saturday, starting off with a game. Number 1, Ohio State versus number 15, Michigan. And again, part of me, dude, it'd be so funny. It'd be so funny if Michigan got another win versus Ryan Day. I just don't think it's plausible because Michigan has not been, I don't want to say good, but they're ranked. They've not been efficient and they've been consistent. So yeah, I'm taking Ohio State to win this game. I would probably take them with that spread as well. It's gonna be hard fought. I mean, this game's always gonna be hard fought. Someone's gonna plant a flag on the field, and it's gonna cause them to fight. More than likely, fines all around. But yeah, I'm gonna take Ohio State to get the win in that one. Moving on, not gonna really spend too much time on this one. This is the other ranked matchup on Saturday. Number 12, Miami at number 22, Pitt. I'm gonna take Miami on that one. Moving on to the Big Ten, Oregon at Washington. It's going to be a very good game. I'm going to take the Oregon Ducks on that one as well. LSU at number 8, Oklahoma. I'm taking the Sooners. LSU is just a very bad team who doesn't have any more money now because they actually they fired Brian Kelly without cause, and they don't want to do the lawsuit anymore. So they're going to pay him the $53 million, which. Dude, hire me as a head coach. Dude, I would do I would just love them. I would just give me a buyout check. Just kind of get good enough to get, paid and then kind of just fall off and then just get the money and go home. But yeah. Gotta take Oklahoma in that one. Number 14, Vanderbilt at number 19, Tennessee. I don't know if this game does this game have a rivalry name? I don't even know if this game has a rivalry name. I mean, it's not like it's like a big time like football rivalry or anything. It's just like a state that hates each other, I guess. I just gotta know. I think I looked this up every year. Yeah, it does not have an official name. But some fan and media suggestions include the I-40 Cup or the Smoky Mountain Music Cup. I like I-40 Cup a lot better. Smoky Mountain Music Cup sounds like way too much. If it was like Smoky Music or the Smoky Mountain Cup, all for that. But yeah, I'm taking Tennessee in this game. This game's in Neyland. Vanderbilt hasn't looked the part as of late, so I'm gonna take the Volunteers to get the win, and I guess a semi-upset in this one based off of the rankings. Now, this last game. All right, this game determines conference champions. This game determines not a playoff spot in any regard, but it determines who comes home with the trophy. And of course, you know it. You know the conference. You love the conference. Everyone loves this conference. The Pac-12. Oregon State at Washington State for the second time this season. This game is awesome. Washington State's a big favorite, as they should be. They're like 4. They're like 5 and 6, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But the best part of this is Oregon State is 2-9. And what I love about this stupid thing that the Pac-12 did was if Oregon State, who has 2 wins, one of those wins are Washington State, if Oregon State wins this game, they will be conference champs with a 3-9 record. And I'm taking Oregon State. I want that to happen. That is awesome. That is the funniest thing in the world. I don't think do they even have a conference championship? Who knows what's going on in the Pac-12? But I just love the idea of them winning the regular season title or whatever the heck they do, strictly because they went 3-9 and just beat Washington State twice. I just need to make sure. Yeah, they don't have a conference championship, so it's just winner of these games. Of course, if Washington State wins, they win the conference because they split and Washington State won more games. But if Oregon State wins this, they win the conference at 3-9, and that's awesome. That is the funniest thing to have ever happened, at least this season, that I can think of. There have probably been other things that have happened. But I'm taking Oregon State in this one. I'm not going to be watching this game because I don't hate myself. So Yeah, I'm taking Oregon State in that one. But of course, let me know what your picks are in the comment section below. Of course, don't forget to leave your predictions for the Iron Bowl on Saturday. Of course, I want to say Happy Thanksgiving again. I don't know how I forgot to say it in the intro. But regardless, Happy Thanksgiving. Hope everyone enjoyed their Thanksgiving with their family. Hope everyone is still enjoying their Thanksgiving with their family. You know, Thanksgiving is not just a one-day thing. It's one day on the calendar. But of course, sure, thanks all the time. Of course, don't forget also, in the comment section thing, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? Mine's probably ham. I love ham, especially a smoked honey ham. Ooh, it's good. But of course, let me know in the comment section below of the Iron Bowl. We're going to go on and get out of here. 40-minute show. So, again, I'm Dylan Larck, able to take on Twitter. Find me on Instagram as well at Dylan Larck, DYLNLARCK. You find me right here in the Call of Duty podcast. If you'd like, comment, subscribe. Again, leave your predictions for any game this week, especially the Iron Bowl. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help us get to our next milestone of 2,000 subscribers. Of course, don't forget to check us out on social media, all the social media platforms as well, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, the works, all of the College Loop, as well as the podcast as well, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music. There we go. But of course, that being said, thanks for tuning in to Call of Duty podcast yet again. And as always, War Eagle and beat Bama.